Hello and welcome back to Arbitrary 20 and our second episode of creating a campaign setting from scratch. In this episode we're going to be going over some different ways of naming things in your world, and then I'll go ahead and apply some of them to the world we're creating in this series. And then we'll finish up this episode by mapping out some areas for us to work on in later episodes. So without further ado, let's get into the first way of how I like to name things. The easiest and most obvious way to get a name for something in your world is just to take it from something else and put it into your world. And honestly, if you're not putting it up anywhere on the internet and your group doesn't mind, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing this. Just take a name from the real world, a video game, mythology, a book, etc., and then just put it into your world. And it can be exactly like the thing you took it from, or you can just use the name as inspiration for what you want to create. And for the second way, it's sort of like the first option, but a little bit more original. And I will say this was not my idea. If I am able to find the video I got it from again, I will leave it in the description of this video. But essentially you do what we did before and take a name from somewhere else, but this time we're going to change a letter or two in the name to make it sound a bit different. The best example of this, which kind of surprised me when I first heard it, was the book Aragon. The title is literally just the word dragon, but with an E instead of a D. Now maybe it was just me, but I definitely didn't notice that at first. This method does seem to work the best when you're changing the first or last letters, and it definitely seems to work better when you're changing consonants and not vowels. But there's no real rules here, and there will always be exceptions, so feel free to change those too. Another interesting way to name the nouns of your world is just to use an internet translator and translate the name of what you're making into a different language. This method can work really well if you have a language in your game that corresponds with the language in the real world. The first example I can think of this is in Critical Role Campaign 2, where Zemnian corresponds to German in the real world. And our final way of naming things for this video is just using name generators. The most common one I've seen used for stuff like this is fantasynamegenerators.com. Again, links will be in the description. And I know these websites are pretty notorious for not putting out the best names sometimes. I've definitely seen some interesting ones that I will put on the screen. But every once in a while they do pump out some pretty good names, and you can use the tricks listed previously in this video to help you change those names to something you like. I've been using these methods a lot lately because my players for the campaign I'm DMing, I'll link it up here, have gotten plane shift at level 5, so I've been creating some things I didn't think I would have to. But that's why we play this game, right? We never know what's going to happen. But let's bring it back to this world, and I'll go ahead and name some of the things that I think need it for our little town we made last episode. And I'll start mapping out some of the areas around this town as well. Along with naming some of the things in the town, I put down some of the important figures and what they do in the town and what the town's purpose is, as well as the population of the town. And if you want to use this town in your game, I'll throw some adventure hooks in there that you guys can use if you want to. And once again, all of that will be on the World Anvil page that is linked in the description. But I think we'll go ahead and end this one there. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to leave a comment letting me know what you thought and if there's anything else you want me to cover in this series. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode.